Habari Gani. It's the last night of Kwanzaa. And tonight's Kwanzaa principle is Imani, and it means faith. And most of the times when people hear the word faith, they automatically assume that you're speaking about religion. And that's not always the case. You can have faith in yourself, faith in your abilities, faith in your family, faith in your community, faith in material things. We have faith in the sun that is going to rise every morning and set every evening. So it's not always a necessarily a religious thing, but it could be just faith in certain things. And when we assume that, I find that we make assumptions about things and people based on what we have learned and what has been taught to us. And I have learned that a lot of assumptions are made about our ancestors, and I'm keeping in line with the theme of our ancestors this week on how they practiced the Kwanzaa principles without even knowing that it was Kwanzaa or before it even had a name. And so one of my pet peeves is that we assume, and I know that I used to, based on what I was taught, but people assume that our ancestors that were brought to these shores were ignorant, that they didn't know how to read, they didn't know how to write, that they were just ignorant people who didn't know anything. And sadly enough, people in the 21st century still believe that, number one, because they've been taught that, and number two, because they won't take the time to research, read, and learn for themselves that that is incorrect. One of the largest libraries in the world was in Africa, in Mali, Africa to be exact, and it was the Timbuktu Library. And if you have a library houses books. So if they can't read or write, why would they need a library? Our ancestors had many came from many different tribes. Each tribe had their own language. Each tribe had their own reading system, their own literacy system. And so they could read and they could write, and they were very highly intelligent, skilled people that they brought to these shores. Um, it is true that they could not read the English language or write the English language because that was not the language that was used where they lived. And so when they got to these shores, they learned, they tried to learn. They were not taught from the ones that kidnapped them and brought them here. So they had to learn in secret. And you know, a secret that they won't tell you or that they won't put in books and you have to kind of learn on your own. A lot of Europeans that had already settled this land couldn't read nor write the very words that they spoke every single day. So tonight I'm going to read a book, and it is called Light in the Darkness, a story about how our ancestors learned in secret. They had faith. They had faith in each other. They had faith in themselves, that knew they had to learn the oppressors and the enemy's language in order to survive and in order to self-emancipate or to be set free. When you can read the laws of the land, then you can use those laws to benefit yourself. All right. In the dark of our cabin, I can't see my mama, but I can feel her breath on my face and whispers, "It's time." I rise from my pallet on the floor and stumble. Mama holds my hand tight and pulls me close. "Follow me," she says, even softer. I hurry because I know where we're going. I grab the back of Mama's skirt and I stay close, following her steps as best as I can out of our cabin and into the night. Most everyone in the quarter is asleep, but we still crouch low and walk with soft steps until we reach the field. We have to make sure that the paddy rollers don't catch us and take us back to the oppressor. We carry the darkness with us out of the quarter, through the trees, down past the creek. When Mama stops, I stop. When Mama turns, I turn. Our walk is long and silent. Broken twigs and sharp rocks cut the bottom of our feet. One night last week, when the lantern was out and the cabin was cool, Mama told me about a place we'd go to learn letters. Like the letters Morris reads to us from the Bible on Sunday, I asked. Just like those, Mama said. Mama says down the road a bit, at the Pompeii plantation, the overseer's wife taught Morris to read the Bible when he was young. Guess he never figured Guess she never figured he'd take that learning and make a school. He's old now, but he held on to his learning long enough to teach us. Mama says one day we're going to be free and we're going to need those letters. But for now, we have to act like reading is the last thing we want to do. Once, an enslaved man who learned how to read was whipped. We all had to watch him give him a lash for every letter he learned. Mama stepped in front of me so I couldn't see, but I could still hear the whip. Tonight we walk till my legs feel like they can't walk anymore. Mama stops and whispers, "Here." She calls out like a bird. When the bushes in front of us move to the side, we step forward and look down into a big hole in the ground. In the light of a lantern, I see faces, young and old, looking up at us, as many as the fingers on my hands. Some of the faces I know, and some I don't. Arms reach up to help us down. First me, then Mama. We squeeze into the corner of a pit, barely big enough for us to stand in. Branches move back into place, making a roof that pricks our hair. It's cool inside. Damp dirt and the sharp smell of pine needles cling to everyone. Someone holds the lantern, and all I can see is a pile of sticks. At least that's what they look like to me. Morris says soon they're going to look like letters, and those letters are going to spell out words. He takes some sticks and makes a shape that looks like a hat. Says it's called an A. He makes two noises and says, "Those are the sounds A makes." We smile at each other when we make the sounds, because if anyone heard us, they would swear there were voices coming from a grave with all the A's and Ah's. But we remembered to keep real quiet. "Touch it," Morris said, "so you remember with your eyes, your ears, and your hands." Doesn't make much sense to me, but I touch the sticks and try to remember the letter A. He scratches other letters out in the dirt. We do a lot of scratching to see if we can make the letters too. "Y'all got to learn fast," Morris says. Sun will be up on us before you know it. A, B, and C. So many sounds and shapes in my head. I hope I can make room for all the other letters he says that are coming. He's going to teach us the whole alphabet. The overseer said those of us that are enslaved are too dumb to learn. You wouldn't know it, because in this school, they are taking in learning like it's their last breath. "Practice the letters every day," says Morris, "for the next time you come, when I come back. One by one, we are lifted out of the pit. It's lighter now, and I know we need to move quick if we're going to make it back to the quarter before the sun rises. This time, I don't hold on to Mama's skirt, but I stay close. Sometimes she has to pull me to help me keep up." "You stay quiet about those letters, Rosa," she says once we're inside the cabin. My eyes are already closed, and I'm too sleepy to tell her that it won't be hard to keep our secret, because I know all I need to do is think about that whip. When the day starts, I tried so hard. I was so tired, I hardly want to take care of the young'uns, but thinking about the letters is what kept me awake. I hear the letters when the young'uns call Rosa, and I hear them when I call my own Mama. All day long, they're in my head, safe from the overseer. We can't go every night. Mama says it's too dangerous, but she always seems to know when it's time for school. Sometimes she just wakes me up, put her finger to my lips, and we slip out. The crickets are so loud you can hardly hear the sticks cracking underneath our feet. It's better that way, because no one wants to be caught out of the quarters. Sometimes the patrollers ride all night, trying to find runaways from their plantations, those that are running to freedom. I hear they are like wolves. They see better at night, and Lord help you if they catch you. After a few more nights of lessons, I'm aching. I know we're supposed to keep quiet as cotton when we're walking, but I can't help asking Mama, when are we going to learn to read? Can't see her face well enough to know if she's mad, but her voice sounds tired. Patience, Rosa. Rosa. She says so low I can barely hear her. There are folks a lot older than you who still can't read. I look at my feet when I think about how long Mama's been waiting. Our next night in school, we hear something outside, hoofbeats. Maybe someone told the patio rollers we were meeting. Might be they're looking for a runaway. Cold sweat, and I'm scared to breathe. The rumble of the horses gets close. Someone kneels to pray. I grab Mama's hand so hard she makes a face. The horses stop just above us, and so does our breathing. Feels like I can't make my whole body stand still anymore. If we wait much longer, the sun will be up. Let's try over at the Ramses farm, a man finally said, close enough that we could hear him. Ain't nothing here. The hoofbeats start to move away. One by one, we all start breathing. Morris says we may need to move the school or wait a while before we begin again. The next day, we hear two field hands talking. Patty rollers caught two of them coming back early in the morning, and they were whipped. One of them so bad that he bled to death. Mama's body gets hard, hard as wood. Ain't no one gonna come to the school now. Folks too scared or just too tired of trying. Days pass by and still no school. I've learned all my letters and I'm ready to make words. Morris told me after the letter comes the words, the reading, and the writing. Finally, one night, I can't wait any longer and I shake Mama. Not tonight, Rosa. It's still not safe. I shake her again and I don't stop until I feel her get up from the pallet. We leave for school under a speck of moonlight. Morris is alone. Only me and Mama came to school. As he helps us down, he smiles at me. Didn't expect to see y'all tonight. Might as well get started, he says, and reaches for the stick. Rosa, I got a word just for you. He writes 4 letters in the dirt, and I move closer to see. Ara, O. We hear them again. Footsteps this time. Soft like, but sure. Like they know just where we are. Whispers and more steps. I look up at Mama, but she just stares at the roof. The overseer will whip us all, and Morris the most of all, for teaching us. He'll get a lash for each letter. And then there's another sound, like the soft call of a bird. Morris reaches up to pull the branches apart. I raise the lantern to see who found us. I see faces looking down at us. Some I know, and some I don't. Everyone waiting to step into the school. We lift our arms to help one down, one and then another. A girl, a new girl, bigger than me, stands in the corner of the pit. Here, I say, picking up a stick, I'll show you how I write my name. They had faith. They had faith in each other. They had faith in Morris that he was going to be there, even though that they had been found out, and there were some, unfortunately, that were whipped. They still kept the faith that if they did not learn how to read, that they were going to always be enslaved. And not just them, they did that so that their descendants, for those that came after them, would know how and would also have the same faith. Thank you for joining me this week for our Kwanzaa videos. I had so much fun sharing this knowledge with you. I hope that you don't keep it. Now that I have shared it with you, I pray that you share it with someone else, especially to the young ones and even the older ones who did not know this information. There are a lot of people that had no idea that one of the largest libraries, if not the largest, was in Africa, in Timbuktu. And so please get that misconception out of your head that our ancestors that came to these shores by force were ignorant, that they were not intelligent, that they were heathens, that they were savages. Get that out of your head. We are the indigenous people to the planet. To the planet. We are indigenous to the planet. We are intelligent. We have faith in ourselves. We have faith in our family, we have faith in our community, and we have faith in our God. Ashe.